invited talk on mental health consequences of the digital revolution. In the beginning, I extend my warm welcome to all the dignitaries present today. First and foremost, I warmly welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. H. Baswanagowda sir, for gracing this program with his esteemed presence. We welcome you to this program, sir. Thank you for joining online.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I extend a heartfelt welcome to Dr. Manjunatha V. Sir, Registrar, JSSH here, and thank you, sir, for joining the program.
Thank you.
And it is indeed an honor to warmly welcome our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Mohan Isaac, sir, an internationally renowned psychiatrist and clinical professor at the University of Western Australia, consultant at Fremantle Hospital, and adjunct faculty at JSSH here. We are privileged to have you with us today, sir, and we cordially welcome you to this program.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to extend my welcome to Dr. Madhu CP, sir, Director, JSS Hospital, and a special welcome to Dr. Narayanappa, sir, Principal, JSS Medical College. And I'm also delighted to welcome Dr. Mantappa M, Vice Principal, Clinical, JSS Medical College, for joining the program online, sir. And I also extend my warm welcome to Dr. Praveen Kulkarni, sir, Vice Principal, Pre and Paraclinical, JSS Medical College, for joining this program. I take this moment to warmly welcome Dr. M. Kishore, Professor and Head Department of Psychiatry, and whose leadership and support have been central to organizing this special program. So we will welcome you to this program, sir.
Thank you.
I finally a very warm welcome to all the faculty members. I'm so sorry. I also welcome Dr. T.S.S. Rao, sir. So, Professor, Department of Psychiatry, JSS Medical College, and President, Indian Psychiatric Society. And finally, a very warm welcome to all the faculty members, resident students, and participants from various institutions. Your presence truly enrich this program. I welcome everyone again. So to begin the proceedings, I request Dr. Kishore M., Professor in Department of Psychiatry, to give a brief introduction of this program.
Seeking the blessings of His Holiness, with due respects to the Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Vice Principal, and the Chief Guest and other dignitaries who have come from across institution of JSSER and others. Very warm welcome to all of you for this special program. India, as the hub of the digital world with the 1.5 billion population, we are at the forefront of interface every day with digital gadgets. From phones to screen time, our involvement with the digital world is extensive. Added to this, the World Health Organization 2025 report highlighted that there is a serious concern about mental health disorders, which now account for 1 billion population around the world. The Government of India 2016 report says that 1 in 7 has one or other mental illness. Where the digital revolution is taking place, it also has an impact on human life, particularly when it comes to mental health. And there is no other person like Professor Mohan Isaac, who has been around the world and also heading at the University of Western Australia, who is also our adjunct faculty at the Department of Psychiatry, JSS Medical College, JSS EHR, to talk about mental health consequence of digital revolution. So it is with this great pleasure and happy that we are organizing with the blessings of His Holiness and with the guidance of the Vice Chancellor, Dr. H. Godappa, and Registrar of the JSSAHR, Dr. Manjunatha sir, and the Hospital Director, Dr. C.P. Madhu sir, Principal, Dr. Narayanappa sir, Vice Principal, Dr. Praveen Kulkarni, Dr. Mahantappa, and everybody who has made this program possible. With this, I hope this program will truly ignite some thoughts and action. Over to you, Pradeep. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. H. Baswanagowda, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, JSSHR, to deliver opening remarks on this. Sir. PJ sir is busy. Sir, you're on
You are muted.
I'll give it. Sir, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
Okay. Okay.
No, no. Sorry, this is the technical problem of handling digital gadgets in a wrong way. Okay, so I have great pleasure in giving my very quick opening remarks for this entirely different program. We know Mohan Isaac is a wonderful orator, wonderful gentleman who has done a lot of work in this area. And we are very fortunate to have Mohan Isaac as our adjunct faculty of JSS Academy of Higher Education Research, Mysore. Greetings from this academy to everyone who have participated here. And I'm very thankful to Kishore and the entire team of Department of Psychiatry of JSS Medical College, Mysore, which is a constituent college of our academy, for organizing this wonderful program, which is a very important, essential topic for discussion and deliberation across the community, across the country, across the world. The revolution that has taken place in terms of digital era and advancements in technology is impacting extremes of advantage as well as disadvantage or usefulness and impactfully harmfulness. So, especially, nobody knows what exactly is the quantum of damage that occurs to the mind and to the brain and the neuronal functions by constant exposure to the digital gadgets by human body. So there are incidences where advancement in technology, advancement in gadgets, I'll give you simply, we are slowly shutting down our brain for various functions by availability of this. Because before the cell phones came in, and when we were dealing with landlines only, we could recall at least 50 phone numbers easily, important ones. The currently, when this has come in, except your phone number and possibly your girlfriend's number, you will not remember any other numbers. Okay, because it is all stored there. You don't want to store it. This is one example of why our brain we are now shutting down slowly. The second is the kind of searching for a knowledge within your mind, searching for an answer for a simple question. Again, we don't give work to the brain. We are taking help of ChatGPT. Ask a question, it will give. This is right or wrong, you adopt. You get excited. Oh, I got a brilliant answer. I'll post it as my own. So this way, I'm superficially thinking there is a lot of impact on the mental health and the brain activity by advancement. Though it has become very advantageous in terms of helping. So what we need to do is, how do we do digital detoxification? Number one, how do we understand impact of the duration of exposure to digital gadgets like cell phones and televisions and iPads and so on? So how do we minimize? But you make it useful only for purpose of the kind of application that is required and taking advantage of that. Without elaborating too much on this topic, for which our Dr. Mohan Isaac is going to tell us, I am here happy to see him and see all the participants here. I am thankful to the organizers for convening this meeting, and I request you to go ahead and once again thank Dr. Mohan Isaac for accepting to deliver this wonderful talk. This is the era of digital world, and a lot of it, I'm telling you, youths are investing a lot of time in using those digital gadgets, and outcome is the utility point is only 10%. 90% of the time they are wasting their time on some nonsenses. So there's a high time that we have to do policies to see that the digital gadgets are meant for advancement of human learning, human support, human comfort, but not for advancement of the mental ill health. With these few words, I thank everyone for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for nice words. Now I request Dr. Manjunatha, sir, Registrar JSS HR, to share few thoughts with us.
Thank you, Pradeep. I think
Thank you, sir.
we are all eagerly waiting for Mohan Isaac, sir. I thank the Department of Psychiatry for organizing such a wonderful event. And without much ado, I think we can go ahead with the program. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I hope Madhu sir is available, sir. Um, so now I request Madhu CP, sir, Director JSS Medical Hospital, to share few thoughts with us.
Unmute ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ.
Madhu sir is there. No. So probably I think Madhu sir is not there. Now I request Praveen Kulkarni, sir, Vice Chancellor, JSS Medical College, sir. I request you
Vice
to.
Principal. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pradeep. So, a very good afternoon, everyone. So, already Vice Chancellor sir has given a very nice introduction to this particular activity. So, without wasting much of the time, so now we need to move from personal hygiene to cyber hygiene and digital hygiene. And how we are going to achieve it, I think Mohan Isaac sir is the best one to guide us in that aspect. Thank you very much, Mohan sir, for accepting our invitation. I request you to kindly elaborate further on these aspects. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now, Mantapa sir has joined the program. So we welcome you to this program, sir. Sir, I request you to share your thoughts with us with regard to this program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
That's a very apt program, no? Very good talk. Over to Dr. Mohan Isaac without wasting much time.
Okay. So I don't take much time. Now I request Dr. Murli Emma, Senior Resident Department of Psychiatry, to kindly introduce our esteemed chief guest and invite him for the talk. Murli, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Seeking the divine blessings of His Holiness Jagadguru Sri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswamiji, Chancellor, JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research. It is a great pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker today, Professor Mohan Isaac, a distinguished psychiatrist, teacher, and a global mental health leader. Currently working as a clinical professor of psychiatry at the UWA Medical School, the University of Western Australia, Perth. Sir also working as a consultant psychiatrist at Fremantle Hospital, where Sir leads early interventions in psychosis team and assertive community treatment team. Prior to his current role, Sir served as a professor and head Department of Psychiatry, NIMHANS, Bengaluru for over 3 decades. And during this period, Sir played an active role in the development and implementation of India's National Mental Health Program, because of which mental health got integrated into the primary care and the patients are getting psychiatric services even in the resource constrained environments, giving rise to community oriented accessible mental health services. Sir's primary research interest lies in the delivery of mental health services in low and middle income settings, and Sir is currently involved in programs focused on capacity building for mental health care services. Sir expertise is recognized globally. Sir has assisted World Health Organization in various capacities across many locations, including 3 year stint at WHO headquarters in Geneva, and Sir has advised several international organizations. With this background, it is an honor to welcome Professor Mohan Isaac to deliver his talk today. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to thank all the distinguished dignitaries who spoke just before me, the Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, the Director, the Vice Principal. Thank you also, Pradeep, Kishore, and Dr. Murli for kindly introducing me. I will just put on my slides. I'm trying to slideshow. Can you let me share the slides? Has it come on the...
Yes, sir. It has come.
Yes. Okay. I will put it on the... Is it on the slideshow? Not yet. I will make it on the slideshow. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much for this kind invitation. JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research is not a new institution for me. I have long association, longer than the time that I have been adjunct faculty, the previous head of the department, Dr. T.S.S. Rao, who is here in the audience. I have known him. He has invited me on numerous occasions for various programs within the academy, as well as uh, programs of the professional organizations which he has been leading. And this has continued with succeeding heads of the departments and the current head, Dr. Kishore, with whom I enjoy working on numerous programs and projects. And somewhere in the line, I also became formally associated with the academy as a visiting faculty, as an adjunct faculty. And on numerous occasions, when I come to Bangalore, I have come and visited your excellent campus, hospital, etc. So it's a great delight for me to come back again, though virtually. And I want to thank everybody involved, and most importantly, the Department of Psychiatry for inviting me to talk on this. As people who gave introductory remarks have already commented, particularly the Vice Chancellor, he talked about the enormous benefits as also the enormous harms. One of the benefits is I'm sitting in my home in Perth, which is a different continent, and many of you are listening to me as if we are sitting in the JSS Academy lecture room or auditorium. This is what technology has achieved, fast communication, etc. But also the enormous harms, not particularly mental health, but what it can do to your brain, your communication, etc. The Vice Chancellor alluded to. He talked about it is true that all of us could remember maybe a dozen or two phone numbers, but we today, he said, at least you remember your phone number and your girlfriend's phone number. Many people don't even know their own number. So the mobile is there. When somebody asks, what is your number? They have to open their mobile and look for their number to tell anybody. Anyway, uh, what I'm going to do is not to go into the nitty gritty details of various mental health problems and give a very dismal uh, and pessimistic picture, but give an overview of what this digital revolution is, how it affects the mental health, not just mental health of an individual, but the mental health care services in a global view, global overview fashion. And also, we won't have time. I hope to take about 20, 25 minutes, maximum 30 minutes to cover my presentation. So that is why the title is fairly large with a uh, large scope, mental health consequences of the digital level. Let me begin by a quote. The quote is from Patrick Dixon. For people who do not know who Patrick Dixon is, he is a, um, business management consultant. He's an author. He has written a number of books, many things on the future of AI, the future consequences of the digital revolution, etc. He is one of the uh, foremost management thinkers. He, I think, works in the Cambridge University in UK. So he is an author and a futurist, and he told some time back, "Take hold of the future, or the future will take hold of you." So be future wise. So I'm not trying to be future wise, but I'm only going to highlight some of the things that we all see as a consequence of this digital revolution. So the overview of my presentation is we have to understand the background of this digital revolution. We are going through a period of rapid social change all over the world. And consequently, the landscape of mental health care is also rapidly changing. So the first 5 minutes or so, I will touch upon what is this rapid social change, what are its consequences, etc. One most important aspect of this social change is the technological change. And then after giving that background and drawing a canvas for you to understand, from what perspective I am talking, we will then move on to the digital revolution, digital mental health. What is digital mental health? I'm narrowing it down to the use of digital technology for mental health purposes, and then talk about this mental health consequences of this digital revolution, both positive and negative. Not in great detail, I will be only touching upon. I will give you, since I think These kinds of lectures are mostly attended by postgraduates, PhD scholars, students, etc. I'll give you numerous references. I'll give you also the link, not necessarily the link, but the cover of the paper, etc., which you can later on. Many of these are in the public domain, public access journals, etc. So this is the background of my presentation. Now, social change is a common term given to various kinds of changes that are taking place in our world. Demographic changes, political changes, cultural changes, economic development. I'll briefly say one word or two about all these things and then focus on the technological change, which is what is contributing to the global digital revolution. Now, why is social change important? Social change have mental health consequences. Okay. And what is social change? Changes in the human interactions and relationships that transforms cultural and social institutions. I don't have to go into the details. You know, the easy access to mobile, the mobile revolution has changed governments in far and wide countries. It started, um, in Northern Africa, in some of the Middle Eastern countries, and closer home, we know what happened in Sri Lanka, in Bangladesh, and most recently, people who follow politics would know about the outcome of the New York mayoral election. The person who won is somebody who the whole forces, all the elitist forces worked against him, but he handsomely won with large vote, mainly because of social media advertisement, etc. So changes in human interactions and relationships that transform cultural and social institution. Usually changes occur over time. Social change has always been taking place in the last 2000 years. But what is occurring in the last 20, 30 years is very, very rapid. Changes have profound and long term consequences for the society. I mean, are we going to be a different kind of beings with the digital revolution, with our brains working differently, etc., etc.? These are all points to ponder. Now, I will touch upon various kinds of changes which are taking place. Demographic changes, for example, longevity of life, that is the number of years that the person lives, is the highest of all time. It is 80, 85, even in very developing countries, very poor countries of Africa, because we have been able to contain communicable diseases, nutritional diseases, longevity of life all over the world is steadily advancing. Does it have a problem? Of course. Lot and lot of old people are living who are healthy, but they have various kinds of disabilities. It's slowly becoming a burden. The number of people in countries like Germany, Japan, and many other European countries, the uh, working age people is shrinking. Older people above the age of 60, 65 is growing. So it's a demographic change which is constantly occurring. Then percentage of people in the world living below poverty levels is steadily declining. Of course, there are still poor people. There are people below poverty line everywhere. But globally, people are moving upwards. The average levels of income, it is occurring in India, it's occurring in Bangladesh, it's occurring in developing countries, it's occurring in African countries. And the digital revolution to some extent has also contributed to that. I'm not going into the details. But with this increase in income, there's also an unhealthy aspect which is taking place. And that is the increase in income inequality. Some estimates say that the income inequality is probably the widest. In our country, there are the richest people, billionaires, but there is also a substantial proportion of poor people. Any city in the world, America has one of the highest Gini coefficients. Gini coefficient is a coefficient which looks at income inequality. Again, I'm no time, I'm only touching upon points for young people to study further and research. I'm talking about various aspects of the social change. Before I come to mental health, rapid urbanization. Again, today in 2025, the largest proportion of the population live in urban places. So the urban-rural distribution is changing. Even in our country, the population living in the cities are growing, towns are growing, more and more people are now urbanized, with its own consequential health and mental health problems. There are other changes as well, migration and forced migration. Forced migration is occurring. Again, people who are familiar with the current affairs will know what is happening in Gaza and many other places. Internal migration within our own country. In fact, in Kerala, they say that if you go to restaurants, unless you speak Bengali or Hindi, you will not be able to, because the number of people serving in various kind of service sectors are not people from Kerala, but people who come from other states. So migration of various types, including forced migration, because of various ethnic reasons, continue. Natural and man-made disasters are increasing, maybe because of climate change. As I was driving from my hospital home, the summer is just beginning in the southern hemisphere in Australia. They were saying that this summer is going to be much more hotter than the previous summers. And why is it of relevance to us? They were warning that there will be more bushfires. Bushfire is a disaster. When such disasters occurs, a lot of people are affected. Many people lose their homes. People are forcibly evacuated to safer places. Disruption, all kinds of physical health and mental health problems. Armed conflicts and wars. We know about the big ones in Ukraine, in in Gaza, etc. But there are so many smaller wars going on, conflicts going on. Then, of course, issues of cultural identity, belonging, meaning, religious differences. Every country, these are increasing. In many Western countries, there is anger against certain communities, certain migrants. So all these things are changing the world. So I told you briefly about the demographic, political, cultural changes, but now let me focus on the technological changes, which is the topic of our discussion today. Technological changes began maybe about 20, 30 years ago, maybe in the mid 80s, maybe later 80s. It started with the widespread use of personal computers. I remember when I was a student of postgraduate training, only the whole institute in Finland, there would have been a countable number of computers. But slowly, more and more officers had, head of the department had, and then now we reach a stage where every student has his own laptop, personal computers. So widespread use of personal computers in a way began the digital, greater digitalization and the technological change. Along with that was the information superhighway, the World Wide Web, and the internet boom. Easier access to the internet in more and more places with personal computers began the revolution. And then came the mobile phone and smartphones, which took on to, I'll talk to you a little more about that. Kishore referred to that about the mobile, smartphone, etc. And with that came the era of social media with a lot of positive as well as negative consequences. And today we are in the current phase of artificial intelligence. The Vice Chancellor referred to ChatGPT helping everybody. All people's questions are answered by ChatGPT. Okay. More about this digital revolution. So, these rapid advances in information and communication technologies, especially mobile communication technologies, and easier, cheaper, and wider access to faster and digitally mediated communication. That is the world that we are living in. It doesn't cost any money for me to, if I have an internet connection at home, I can talk for 1 hour with my daughter who is in India, my son who is in India, my daughter who is in the United States, no cost at all. Earlier on, you had to make a trunk call, book, it costed money. We will say whatever we had to say in a telegraphic language because every minute costed money. So there is, with the exponential growth in data, speed, and connectivity, easier, and digitally mediated communication. Is it good? Of course, it's good. Are there negative effects? As I will tell you later on, that there is a paradox of greater connectivity, but also greater loneliness because people have stopped talking to each other. They are texting to each other. So digital technologies have advanced more rapidly than any other innovation in the whole history. I will show you a slide. No, before that, I credit this gentleman, and I have great admiration for him. He died quite young, and when he was in his early 50s, due to a very rare form of pancreatic cancer. I'm referring to Steve Jobs, who is famously known as a university dropout, etc. But I will not go into the details. For those who want to know more about how this revolution came about and how Steve Jobs facilitated it, you must read it's a fairly thick book, his autobiography, written by Walter Isaacson, who is a former editor in chief of Time. It's easily available in paperback. It's very interesting. He spent a lot of time as a hippie when he was 17, 18 years. He came and wandered around in India because he thought that he can attain salvation by coming. He had heard that, he had read that. And when he came to India, some of his ideas about making things available to large number of people, making technology available to large number of people, in his autobiography, it is said, arose when he was roaming around in the 70s in India as a 17, 18-year-old man who came seeking spirituality, but he realized that India is a poor country with large number of semi-starved, semi-naked people. And he realized that anything he does, it should reach ordinary people. It should be easily accessible. There's no point developing any kind of technology which can be accessed only by very rich people. And this is probably how he started working on the Apple computers, etc. I would as many people would, I would rate him as a visionary of the modern digital revolution. And this is a picture. He's talking to the Apple general body meeting about the i iPhone in 2007. Of course, the mobile telephony was already discovered in 1993. It was popularized and distributed by Nokia, which is a Finnish company. But the smartphone revolution, it touched all of us, even a 1.5 year old child. When he cries, she cries. The mother gives a mobile. That child knows how to use his finger to change the things, etc. And all this kind of user friendliness, etc., was the vision and wisdom and creativity of Steve Jobs. And talking at that time, he said, holding the iPhone, of course, a smartphone, this will change everything. And this was in January 2007. It's less than 20 years, and it has really changed everything. This is an Economist cover story which calls it the planet of the phones. And by 2020, now we are 2025, they had predicted, this is, I think, a 2015 cover story. They said 80% of the adults will have a supercomputer in their pocket. It's already become a reality. The smartphone is ubiquitous, addictive, and transformative. It is transforming people. It is transforming families, lives, couples. It is transforming relationship. It is addictive. So much so, as Kishore mentioned, we have new disorders called gaming disorder, etc. And it is ubiquitous. It is universal. The mass uptake of smartphone, the global population. I mean, if you look at global population, it is never a constant number. I mean, if you Google and look for the population, it is going because babies are being born somewhere or the other in the world. It's never a static number. But it is 8.2 plus billion. Now, number of internet users worldwide is about 6.04 billion. Nearly 75% of the world population have access to internet. They may or may not use for all the things all of us are using. It might be for internet. It might be for, finding where the cheapest bag of, chips is available or whatever. And the number of smartphones worldwide is over 7.1 billion. It doesn't really mean that 7.1 billion have a smartphone, because as you and I know, many of us have not one, but two, three phones for different purposes. One for the office, one for friends, one for family, etc. So the number of people using may be slightly lesser, but there are 7.1 billion smartphones. Now, I told you this is the most rapid advances. This is a graph, it's slightly older one, which shows the growth of personal computers, mobile phones, and then smartphones. The most rapid increase from about 2005, in the last 15-20 years, mobile phones and smartphones have had, this is the quickest increase in any kind of advance in technology. We know in the 500 years, the printing press came, various other things came, vaccination came. I'm only now talking about smartphone, personal computers and mobile phones. But this is also causing some problem. The human's ability to adapt to changes, I think the current pace of development is going beyond human capacity for adaptability. This is also a slightly older graph. The straight line is the human adaptability, which of course increases, but it is at a certain pace. But the technological advance, innovation, which is occurring in the past 10, 15, 20 years, is so rapid that it is far beyond the human adaptability, which is causing various kinds of problems. AI, I'm not going to, I'm only just flagging it for you to reflect and think and learn and research on. This is a very funny slide. It's talking about the good effects as well as the satanic negative effects. And that is why I chose this particular image for my PowerPoint. Should we fear AI? This is the cover story of a magazine which writes about good effects and bad effects. And, thousands and thousands of people in the software industry have already started losing their jobs. And so many other things we are only beginning to witness. We are witnessing the good things, also the not so good things. Now, let me quickly shift for a little while for us to understand the negative and positive aspects of mental health consequences of digital revolution. Let me tell you about the rapidly changing landscape of mental health care all over the world. I'll only touch upon the important points. First one is 50 years ago, after the discovery of chlorpromazine, the revolution in the field of mental health was deinstitutionalization, the closing down of mental hospitals. You all remember the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I'm mentioning that because I don't know, today is November 26, 27, but I think it was November 25th or so of 1975, 50 years ago, that One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was released. It won 5 Nobel Prizes, the best five, the best director, best actor, best actress, best screenplay, etc., etc. Jack Nicholson won the award. It's about a person locked up in a mental hospital, which has had tremendous influence on mental health care providers and administrators, etc. It quickened the deinstitutionalization movement. It was thought of as a very major kind of a thing. But today, in the past 10, 15, 20 years, in India, the deinstitutionalization is still halfway through. We still have mental hospitals. But many advanced countries have closed down all their mental hospitals. So the unforeseen consequences of deinstitutionalization, what is called as trans-institutionalization, mentally ill people in jails, the homelessness, etc. Okay, mental health services are going up very well, of course, not up to the expectation. But the sad news is the treatment gap, that is, the gap between people who need treatment and who are actually getting, that is called the treatment gap, it is wide. Even in advanced countries like Australia, which has maybe 100 times more resources as far as mental health service delivery is concerned. So the treatment gap may be substantially more in low and middle income countries, but it is not widened. It is not sort of reduced in advanced countries. It is continuing. Continuing universal stigma. Certain aspects of stigma have improved, but stigma of severely mentally ill is still there. And on a positive side, there is greater user and carer involvement. That is patient involvement, family involvement, etc. Shared decision making is a concept which all advanced mental health services are supposed to follow. And the recovery movement, all developed countries now are supposed to follow recovery-oriented mental health services. But this is also occurring with alarming rise in mental health problems, especially among the young all over the world. Rates of mental health problems for that particular age group of 16 to 24, the late teens and the early 20s have doubled during the past 2000 to 2019. It would have been much more in the past 5 years. This is the data which is published. Causes for the rapid increase may be many and complex. I will highlight some of them. Some epidemiologists even question, is there a real increase? Or it is just that, stigma has come down, people are seeking help, there are more facilities available. Is that the real reason for the increase, or is there a real reason? The correct answer may be a little from both. Miscategorization of normal psychosocial distress. Maybe this is a consequence of our mental health education. A lot of people now want to pathologize and self diagnose when they are a little upset. Or is it this? Or am I having obsession? Am I suffering from anxiety? Is it PTSD? Is it, the other day I had to go round and round and round in the car park. I spent half an hour. It was just so traumatic. Now I'm having a PTSD. People read different. So miscategorization of normal distress as mental disorder may be contributing to the increase in number. So there are in the internet all kinds of things available. Self-report questionnaires which can give you a fairly accurate diagnosis of neurotic conditions. Obsessive compulsive disorder can be diagnosed by yourself by answering some of these well-developed questions. That may be contributing. But the self-report questionnaires are increasing the diagnosis in certain categories, most notably attention deficit hyperactivity disorder of adult, what is called as the adult ADHD. Autism spectrum disorder, you know that the more recent diagnostic um, classificatory systems have diluted the diagnosis. They have expanded the umbrella of autism spectrum disorder, so every other person can be diagnosed as suffering from ASD. Then, of course, there is PTSD. Originally, PTSD was only for the Vietnam veterans. I mean, Dr. Srinivasamurthy and we were involved in India after the Bhopal gas leak disaster. I'm referring to that because I was in Bhopal a few days ago. So that was the typical PTSD. It has different criteria. But today we have complex PTSD. Another problem in many developed countries is gender dysphoria. Children as young as 8 and 9 say, no, I'm born a boy, but I feel like a female. I want change. I want this. And in many countries, when children and families ask, doctors are forced to not only agree with that, but initiate hormone change, hormone treatment, and all kinds of things, including sex change therapies, causing a lot of problems. This is crazy because of iPad, iPhone, all kinds of things. You become crazy. Panic, depression, psychosis. Our connection, addiction is rewiring our brains. Okay. So changing landscape of mental health care, I already mentioned better awareness of knowledge about mental health is a problem. Outcome of mental health education, while some stigma of consulting a mental health or a counselor has come down, stigma of severe mental disorders still continues. Changing help-seeking patterns, GPs are getting trained more and more of the MH gap program, etc. So on the whole, there is a huge treatment gap, more and more of diagnosis, especially among young people, adolescents, and young adults. And many of them are these kind of newer categories of disorders. Now I will come to digital mental health and then uses positive and negative consequences, and then conclude. Now, the term digital mental health is used when, I'm only being a very, I am saying this in an overview fashion. I won't have time to go into specific details of how technology is helping or not helping advances in healthcare as well as mental health care. So when you use and apply digital technology to deliver mental health care, you are actually doing digital mental. Now, what are they used for? It can be used for many, many purposes. It can be used for mental health and well-being promotion. There are apps which you can check various things and which help you. Well-being, maintenance, and self-care. Lot of technological and internet-based applications available. Also for prevention, for early identification, early intervention, for treatment. So digital technology can enhance existing services, especially in Australia, remote areas where there are no psychiatrists. In India, I'll come to little later on, telemedicine, etc. So digital mental health and use of digital technologies have contributed to expanding and enhancing existing services. There's an interesting paper in the British Psychological Society journal, Psychology and Psychotherapy, the digital revolution and its impact on mental health care. Very comprehensive and very well written, critically written article worth looking. Some of the things I'm saying will be in this article as well. Telemedicine, telemental health, various kinds of smartphone mental health apps. I know that the JSS Department of Psychiatry has also produced one, two, I don't know how many, the smartphone apps for suicidal risk identification, suicidal risk management, etc. etc. There are online therapy platforms. It initially started in the general health, cancer survivors platforms, breast cancer survivors for peer support, help, etc. But in the field of mental health as well, there are online platforms. People with chronic fatigue syndrome, that's a very powerful online platform where a lot of people seek help, etc. Because they think mental health professionals are not very supportive. They say it is a mental health problem, whereas many of them believe that it is not a mental health problem. It's a post-viral neuralgia. I'm just giving some examples here and there. Then, of course, there is a big advancement in wearables. You can wear a gadget and know how good is your sleep, how good or bad is your mood, etc., etc. Wearables generate high resolution and longitudinal behavioral, environmental, physical data. And some of us, like me, old psychiatrist who is not. So I remember sometimes I'm introduced to these by my own clients. About 2 years ago, there was a girl who was complaining of whom I was looking after, early intervention psychosis, one of my areas. And then I said, okay, can you write down when you sleep? Because she was reporting sleep problems. And then I said, you note down and this and that, etc. I gave in the old world model, which I was trained in, which I knew. And when 15 days later, when she came, I was completely bold. He had read about it, downloaded some app, which gave details not only about the information I wanted, but the quality of her sleep. All that she had to do was to keep it with her on her body, etc., and go to sleep. And she gave me much more information. So various kinds of applications, digital applications and wearables are there, which generates 24/7 high resolution behavioral, environmental, of course, physiological data. Your heart rate variability is an area where people are looking into. Can we make a psychiatric diagnosis looking into heart rate variability? So these are all areas, and this is now. And digital phenotyping, again, people who know it would know. We know about other kind of phenotyping. This is getting all the digital information using your wearables and various other gadgets and having a complete all data information about the client that you are having, in addition to the clinical history taking and mental status examination. One of the big things which the government of India and NIMADS keep talking about, and you go to any place, this is there. It is the telemedicine, which was inaugurated by the Prime Minister on the World Mental Health Day about 3 years ago. I think it was in 2002. If you talk to the director of NIMADS, or if you look into the Government of India Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website, this is a kind of a flagship kind of mental health program of the government. Of course, we need to evaluate, as I would be telling you about the smartphone. The greatest weakness is these are all fancy things. None of them have been evaluated for their efficacy, like we used to do evaluation of interventions and treatments. Telemanas, is it just an information giving? Is it helping people? I'm sure people in the MADS and many other places, PGI, AIMS, etc., collecting data, but we have not yet, I have at least not seen any robust data about this evaluation. This is not a criticism, but I'm saying that this is a thing which has enhanced the availability of mental health information and mental health services all over the country. There is even number, telecounseling you can get. Okay. There are other kinds of therapy, virtual and augmented reality therapy. In fact, on Monday, I'm sitting in a research proposal where they're comparing the traditional CBT with virtually enabled CBT. This is a randomized controlled trial. They wanted some subject. The people who are doing the research wanted us to get involved. I will be attending that meeting. Chatbot therapy, that is using the chatbot, the artificial intelligence. Now, the biggest debate is, will psychotherapists and counselors, just like the software and data entry people are being now washed out with the AI advances, will that kind of a thing occur in the field of psychotherapy? Social media, positive, negative things. I will again not have time to go into all the details. Many of you know I have only a few more minutes. I will conclude. Online support groups and communities, big data and artificial intelligence, hybrid models that utilize traditional methods with, I am a votary for this, that you see people face to face, which is still important. The human touch is there. But then maybe for every follow up, they don't have to come and park here, there, wait in the outpatient. That can be done. So this is called the hybrid model of delivering care, using the traditional methods with digital mental health. Advantages: personalized treatment, personal mental health monitoring, population level monitoring. Maybe this is part solution for the global mental health care shortages, workforce shortages, a way to reach the unreached. They have a key role in raising mental health awareness, advocacy. These are all self-explanatory. I'm not spending much time. Those of you who want to know more, there are two important papers that I will refer to. The postgraduates and the trainees and the scholars should all go through this paper. This is easily accessible. This is from the journal World Psychiatry, which is the most widely cited journal with the highest impact factor in the field of mental health, psychology, etc. The growing field of digital psychiatry, current evidence, and the future of apps, social media, chatbots, and virtual reality. Very interesting paper. You go through this. This came out in 2021 or so. You have to only Google World Psychiatry and the title of this or the first author, you will easily get and you can download it. The main author is John Torres, who works in Harvard. He is himself a psychiatrist with great interest in digital technology. The more recent paper, which came in 2025, September, either the latest or one of the recent issues, it is an advancement of the same set of authors, same primary author, John Torres, the evolving field of digital mental health, current evidence and implementation issues for smartphone apps, generative artificial intelligence. There are a lot of ethical issues, privacy issues, evaluation issues on smartphone apps. There are probably thousands of apps developed. It's very easy to develop an app, but is it based on sound theory? Has it been evaluated? Would it have any consequences, negative consequences? Read through this paper. It's a very exhaustive and very critical paper. Now I'll conclude by what is happening in Australia. We have a national digital mental health framework. It's a document of the government. I think in India also, people in the Department of Health and Mental Health should come out with a framework document. Of course, Telemanus is the flagship program which I referred to. What are the things that we do in Australia? Digital mental health services are easily accessible for free or very low cost. They are online via desktop, mobile, including through web chat and peer support forums. By phone, including through calls or text messages. A lot of my clients, deep clients, they text their care coordinators about whether they're coming on time, what kind of problem they have, side effects. A lot of communication occurs through that. They can access support as either a complement or an alternative to face. I already mentioned about the hybrid nature and how I am a votary for that. Digital services often focus on common mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, some of the conditions which I referred to earlier. They are also useful for health promotion, psychoeducation, prevention, recovery, crisis support, counseling, etc. Services are delivered in real time in various settings, including homes, workplace, schools, wherever the client is, wherever the recipient is, it can be delivered there because you're using mobile gadgets. Some services offer fully automated self-help programs. Self-help programs which are automated are offered, while others involve guidance from clinicians, trained counselors, volunteer crisis support. So all modalities of care and services are now available. And digital mental health services are available to all in need. And who are the ones in Australia who get it? People who live in remote areas, the indigenous population, people who are in immediate crisis. And there is, of course, out there a section of people who are very uncomfortable with face to face kind of service. They say, even if you force them to have a face to face service, they don't reveal everything. They are secretive. And this digital method is a method which is accepted by, which is friendly to such people. They are unsure about their feelings and looking for more information. Many of them will Google, get all this, use some of these apps, and then decide whether to seek. So these are all the digital mental health services provide targeted support to specific groups. I mentioned already people who belong to the culturally and linguistically diverse population, children, the LGBTQIA community, survivors of torture, migrants, pregnant women, aboriginals, etc. Issues and challenges of digital mental health. I mentioned already there is a need for a reliable, universal quality assurance framework, which is not there. When you use olanzapine or when you use a drug, new drug which comes up, there are so many regulations. Nobody can just introduce it into the market. It has to go through various, uh, uh, you know, licensing authorities, etc. But some of these things are just easily, you can develop something and make it available. So there is a need for a universal quality assurance way. There's absence of robust evidence and rigorous evaluation. I'm not going to the details, these are general statements. Many of the apps are not evaluated. It is a claim of the people who develop it and whatever they write, but it's not been independently evaluated. So there is need for high quality validation. There is a need to co-develop some of this. It is called co-production, not very well popular in India. Co-production simply means we as mental health providers, administrators, involve patients and families who are the users of services, uh, who are the carers of mentally ill people, in deciding what kind of gadget should be provided. It's called co-production. There's a need for that out there. Of course, although the smartphone use, etc., have increased, but still there is a digital have-nots. I don't know whether there are a lot of digital have-nots in India. Their proportion may be very small because what I am always told is that if, when you're stopping at a red light and there are some people begging and you say, I don't have any cash, they'll immediately open their mobile and show their QR code sir, you can transfer it through your phone pay or whatever. So even at that level in India, that kind of advance have occurred, but there are digital have-nots in many countries, small proportion, and there are privacy and ethics issues. Now I'll conclude with the negative consequences. Vice Chancellor referred to. I don't have time to go into lot of details, but this digital faster communication also facilitates misinformation. So much so today is called the age of misinformation, the age of fake news, because history is being accelerated, advances are occurring so fast, and it's also called the social media age. These are all references for you to the misinformation age, which is a book. You can access it and read it. This is a Scientific American which talks about how to know today if something comes on the TV, you do not know. TV, maybe some check has occurred, but in the mobile, the news you get, what is true, what is false, it's a big problem. It has become a scientific problem. Okay. Social media age. I'll only show you these references because my time is up. I'm going to conclude. You need to go through all this to know the beneficial effects as well as the negative effects. The dark side of social media, psychological, managerial, and societal perspective. Social media and mental health, depression, predators, personality disorders. So the other problems are we are replacing face-to-face communication with online communication with it all unknown, unforeseen consequences, causing the paradox of social media. There is greater connectivity, at the same time, greater isolation. Consequences of ever increasing screen time. It is being what is the ideal screen time for everybody. I used to read papers about screen time excess for young children, etc. But more recently, I'm reading papers about excess screen time for the elderly population. People who are retired, who are all the time looking into the screen, looking into the mobile. There are consequences for that as well. No time to go into details. It is causing digital addiction, gaming disorder, cyberbullying. There are any number of cases of people in the age group of 13 to 17, 18 committing suicide because of cyberbullying. So much so, I have again no time to go into detail. From 10th of December, there is social media ban by legislation. Australia is the first country, so far the only country, to bring in social media ban for people below the age of 16. A lot of questions are being asked how it is going to be implemented. Government is already on a kind of information provision how to do this, and they are taking the support of the social media, providers, etc. Online harassment of various types, including cheating, etc. Digital burnout. These are some of there is a paper by Manoj Sharma, who is the professor of psychology in NIMHANS, he runs a special digital clinic. He talks about digital resilience is needed in these days of technology advance. He talks about digital burnout, newer conditions called fora, fear of missing out, fear of being rejected or accepted. I see young people on a regular basis who suffer from many of these problems. Online gambling, the loneliness paradox, which I referred to, doom surfing, doom scrolling. Another problem is selfitis. A lot of people, I think, even in India, suffer from selfitis. What is it? Taking selfie, 100 selfies from morning till evening. Every nook and corner, you are admiring yourself. It's a form of narcissism. No, nomophobia. If you open your mobile and there are no messages, that creates a kind of attack, panic. Why is nobody communicating? Phantom vibration syndrome. You think the phone is vibrating all the time. Inbox zero syndrome. And in the background of all this, the need for digital resilience. Pattern of social media use among youth, implication for social media literacy. All of us need that. I will conclude here. This is my address. I'll be happy to be communicating with anybody. Anybody who want this set of PowerPoints, please ask the organizers. I have sent them, or you can ask me. You send a mail to me, and I'll be very happy to Thank you very much for listening, patient listening. Once again, my immense gratitude for this kind invitation and this opportunity to talk at the JSS. Back to the organizers.
Thank you, sir. Uh, Thank you for making a really comprehensive and wonderful presentation. We understood so many things about the kind of digital revolution that has been taking place in the world and the consequences on a mental health. Thank you so much for making wonderful presentation again, sir. To conclude the session, I invite Dr. Akshata, Senior Assistant Department of Psychiatry, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Pradeep, if there are one or two questions, people can ask.
Okay, okay, yeah. So now the floor is open for the discussion. I invite audience questions now. Any questions from audience?
Sir, good evening, Dr. Mohan
Good evening.
Isaac, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir,
Dr.
this is
Mantappa,
our
sir,
vice principal,
Okay.
Dr. Mantappa.
Yeah.
I'm a
Please,
medical
sir.
professor, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, are you using a hybrid mode like in your practice, like some online consultations and some face to face like that?
Yes.
Are you using and
Yes.
okay,
Yeah, we are doing it because you know,
uh,
Australia, there are remote populations where there are no mental health professionals, etc. But personally,
okay,
in
okay.
my personal thing, always the first assessment is face to face. It is only
Yes,
subsequently for follow up, side effect profiling, increasing medication, decreasing medication. That many times we allow tele mental health. They say, sir, we can't come. I will log in. We give a time, you know. But again, it
yes,
is
sir.
not just telephony, but tele video. We want to see them. We want to see the facial expressions, etc. But again, I'm one of those who still believe that there is some merit in the human contact, especially in the healing branches. Maybe in other branches of medicine, it may be less necessary, but in the field of mental health, I think it is certainly needed. But certain minor conditions, psychiatric condition, maybe telemental health would be adequate.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So any more questions from the audience? I request audience, in case if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and you can ask. Okay.
It's a kind of listening burnout. You talked about digital burnout. You listened, I mean, I must have spoken for about 30, 40 minutes, and they are at the fag end of the day, 3 to 4, 4:30, it must be, we are tired. They want to wind this up, go, maybe reflect on it, and maybe we'll refer some of the references that I mentioned. But in case anybody wants to raise a question later on, my email ID I have shared, you feel free to send me a mail.
Thank you, sir. So can we move to the next level, sir, of the presentation?
Yeah, please.
I request Akshita to deliver vote of thanks.
With the blessings of His Holiness, good evening, everyone. On behalf of Department of Psychiatry, it is my privilege to propose vote of thanks for today's special talk on mental health consequences of the digital revolution. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Mohan Isaac, sir. Sir, your insights into the deeply evolving digital landscape and its impact on mental health have been deeply enriching. Thank you very much. I also extend my gratitude to Dr. Vasavana Godappa, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, for their constant encouragement. I also extend my thanks to Dr. Manjunath B, sir, Registrar, for his continued support. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Madhu Sikhi, sir, Director, JSS Hospital, sir, for their guidance and continued support. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Narayana sir, Principal, JSS Medical College, for their encouragement for the program. I also extend my thanks to Dr. Mantappa sir, Dr. Praveen Kulkarni sir, Vice Principal, JSS Medical College, for their continued support and engagement. I also thank Dr. Kishore M sir, Professor and Head of the Department, JSS Medical College, Department of Psychiatry, for conceptualizing and organizing this beautiful program. Finally, a special thanks to all the faculty members, postgraduates, undergraduates, and staff who have joined today. Your active participation has added weight for value to this program. Thank you.
So, thank you, everyone. Thank you all for joining this program and making this event so successful. So, Kishore sir.
Yeah. We can close. I think recording they can stop.
Yeah. So it will be done automatically, sir.
Okay.
Thank
Sir,
you.
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
See you
Thank
all,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Yes, sir.